I think Judge Johnson's, and here again, you know, how do you anticipate what Judge Johnson's thinking? But I think what he's looking for is an overall answer, and not necessarily a stopgap answer to the problems of incarcerating felons in the state of Alabama. I think he wants to address the problem of the county jails across the state. I think he wants to address the problem of housing prisoners in a constitutional environment in facilities that we operate. My advice up to this point is that not only would he not involve himself in that, there may be judicial reasons why he cannot do that. There may be equal reasons indicating why he cannot direct, you know, how we will expend funds that have been made available by the Alabama public. I suppose the key issue, you know, really boils down: does the federal judiciary have the power and the authority to run state government? I think that's what really is a test here.
Lieutenant Governor-elect George McMillan says he feels that at least 3 significant proposals came out of the organizational meeting for state senators today. The incoming lawmakers met at the state capitol with McMillan to organize and consider general rules of order and procedures for the upper chamber. Upon the completion of about a 2-hour meeting, some of the senators had casual conversation with the governor-elect Fob James. The governor was en route to a meeting with the heads of state colleges and universities. The proposed rules changes and Senate procedures, according to the Lieutenant Governor-elect, will help to prevent log jams in the Senate, which has been so prevalent in previous sessions. A change to surface this time will be what is referred to as a consent calendar, which permits each senator to refer 3 bills of his choosing and 3 House bills to the calendar, which limits debate to 30 minutes but no longer than 2 hours. It would require a bill be voted up or down. In the future, it would take 3 senators objecting to suspend the rules in the Senate instead of just 1, as in the past. The Senate will also do business with the more orderly dual-type calendar. It was agreed that the number of Senate standing committees be reduced from 7 to 10, as proposed by McMillan when he campaigned for the office of Lieutenant Governor. The senators agreed that the 5 o'clock quitting rule needs to be done away with. McMillan said he was optimistic about the upcoming 4 years. He said he found meetings he has had with the senators to be most uplifting and saw productive years ahead for the upper chamber. Reporting from the state capitol, George Mitchell, WSFA TV News.
Well, I wouldn't want to second-guess the governor on who he appoints to office. I understand that the question came about the ballots, and of course the governor said he didn't know anything about it. And I'll take the governor at his word to say that he didn't know anything about it, and that the governor said it was a mistake, and I agree with the governor. And the governor said it should never happen again. I agree with the governor on that. It should never happen again. Insofar as Mr. Littleton saying he was not trying to deceive the people, I reject that contention. I think it was purposely designed to deceive people. There's no such thing as Alabamans for decent citizenship in Perry County. There's no such thing as Alabamans for decent citizenship in Hale County. So I would say that Mr. Littleton's point that he was not trying to mislead people, I reject that. And on the other hand, I accept the fact that the governor said it won't happen again and he didn't know anything about it. And I won't try to second guess the governor who he appoints. He knows about Mr. Littleton. If he's satisfied with him, that's his appointee. I make no further claim against him.
Less than 2,000 of the some 11,000 registered voters in Montgomery's District 7 turned out to vote for one of the two candidates left in this runoff for the Montgomery City Council seat that was vacated when Larry Dixon won a seat in the State House of Representatives. Mrs. Elise Reynolds and Martha Nachman, the two runoff candidates. The election votes are as follows, not counting the absentee ballots. Mrs. Elise Reynolds, 1347. Martha Nachman, 596. So, by a 2-to-1 margin, Mrs. Elise Reynolds has won the honor of being District 7's next representative on the Montgomery City Council. City officials will say that voter apathy and the holiday season combined have been the main reasons for the low voter turnout. Even 7 days ago, during the regular election leading up to this runoff, less than 20% of the voters in this district turned out. Again, Elise Reynolds, the new District 7 representative on the City Council. Chris Grimshaw, WSFA TV News.
The problem that we have is that to continue the work that the company does, most of the dollars that have to be raised to be spent on the projects involved have to be raised by outside capital, that is, by borrowed money or by the sale of stock. And our financial situation is such that under the many restraints under which we work, we simply cannot. And the Securities and Exchange Commission has told us that our financial situation is too precarious to permit any further increase in the level of borrowings that we could make from banks. So the need to conserve cash is what has required us to commence and undertake the layoffs, which are now at a substantial level, and we are where we are. If we don't have facilities available to serve the public, sooner or later there's going to be that problem that they had in France, and the economic development of this state and the comfort and standard of living of the people of this state is going to suffer if we aren't able to do the job that we are chartered and directed by statute to do. That's what we're trying to do, and we cannot do it unless we can charge for the product an adequate amount to cover the cost of the product. We're asking the Governor and the Attorney General to join with us to try to find an immediate solution that will let us continue the work that we have to do. And that's what we're asking, and we hope that that they will join with us in that, and we hope that our customers and the people of this state will understand what it is we're trying to do and the very urgent need that we have to get on with the job that we are charged to do.
We started about 4 years ago working with junior high and high school classes, just visiting with them and bringing the ones we could through the prisons throughout the state to demonstrate what it was all about. Starting 3 or 4 months ago, we had the opportunity to get a little deeper than that, and with an alternative school. This is a school that the few 30 or 40 kids in it are in trouble. They're already in trouble. We've had other groups of children, youngsters, who are already in the courts. They're on probation of some kind. The question was first put to us, can you take these youngsters in there and show them that they don't want to live there? So rather than just take them through the prison, which is a dangerous sort of a thing, we beef up the guard staff a little bit and decided we'd take them from the back door where they come in, if they're going to be admitted, take them every foot of the way through this prison and into the dining room to eat with the inmates and get the atmosphere for 2 or 3 hours. Then after they've had that in-depth tour, they sit down with 5 or 6 inmates. Some are new, some are long-termers, been here many years. And they lay it out, just the way it is. And youngster, you don't want to come here, and I'll tell you why. And that's the way they go with it.
The youths are shown the area where new prisoners are processed when they first come into the state prison. They see the desk where inmates are completely stripped and relieved of all their personal articles, including their clothing. They're told how the inmates are fingerprinted, given a number, sprayed for lice, and issued their prison clothes.
They see everything from admitting through the cells, the way it is in the cells, the way it is in the dormitories, the eating, living conditions, eating in the dining room and so forth, the fact that there is no privacy in prison, none whatsoever. Every minute of their life they're in sight of a guard while they're inside this prison and hundreds of other people. This kind of thing is what makes the impression. There's no privacy. They've lost everything that they have when they come in here. One of the inmates described it, when you strip off here at the back gate or in admitting, you don't just strip your clothes and stand naked. You've lost your confidence, you've lost everything. And it's that way. That's what they tell the youngsters who come in.
One of the most effective and memorable events of the program takes place in the chapel. These prisoners have been convicted of major crimes such as murder, and one of them has been referred to as the former terror of the prison. They meet with the youths in a rap session. They say their own lives have begun to change as they reach out to help others who need to see the consequences of disobeying the law. Most of the time is spent answering questions and describing prison life in hopes of dissuading youths from ideas related to unlawful acts.
What you put into life, that's what you get back. If you violate the rules, you're going to get nothing hardly but prison life, which offers you very little nothing. If you go by the rules, your life is no telling what it will go into. All the wonderful things. And another statement he made was when he was a kid, smoking pot wasn't against the law. Well, it's not what you're doing is so bad. What's the bad thing is it's against the law, it's against the rules. You got to go by the law, you got to go by the rules around your home, you've got to work, you've got to put something into life to get something out of it. If you stop breaking them now, you have a chance, but if you don't, it's just going to get worse and worse.
For a person to come out here and to be exposed to the type of life that we are living, things that may befall them if they continue on, it's an awakening for them. And see, me, myself, they didn't have anything like this. And there wasn't a male around the house that was strong enough to tell me what to do. I was my own boss, and I did as I wanted to do. And, well, I felt like I was my own boss at the time because I could do as I wanted to do. And where you, a stranger, and another thing too, I feel like a stranger will have more effect on another individual because your son probably would have a tendency to listen to one of those men there because he feel like they is a professional and they are going to tell him what is right, you know, and try to help them. And he would sit down and listen and won't back talk at them where he would probably talk back at you, you know. And things like the whole program is to help the individual to see where that they can befall and not to reflect so much on how bad we are. You know, we did bad. We are paying for ours, but we are trying to stop other people from doing bad and falling into the same loopholes and traps that we fell into.
You have in mind, say, well, they done this, they done that. What they was talking about, that should have happened to them. They should lose their family. They deserve this, they deserve that. We're not talking about what we deserve. Most of us know that. We're merely explaining our situation. We're not complaining. We're explaining our situation, hoping to put something into your life. We're not looking for nothing back. If we get something back, good and fine. But we're here to help you. And we're explaining our situation. We're not complaining about this shouldn't happen to us because of what we've done. We know what we've done. We know what we deserve. And whatever we get out of life by helping you, we're good.
Well, I done saw some come in, saw them gang rape, beat up, stabbed, killed, and just about anything that bad can happen to a man. I have saw it happen in the institution since I've been confined.
I'm just out here observing the program in hopes that we can expand it and supplement our program where every 8th grader comes through the courthouse and use this program for people who have already been adjudicated delinquent at juvenile court and bring them through out here as a condition of their probation and let them talk eye to eye, one-on-one with some of these inmates who know what the prison system's like. Let them see the penitentiary as opposed to the juvenile facility, and in hopes that, one, we can either enlighten them that they don't want to come or scare them into not coming. and that's what we hope to do. The program is not underway at this time. It's in a kind of preliminary stage, and we're just trying to look at it to see if we can use it. I hope to talk with Dr. Warren and the Warden Howard, and see if we can coordinate it and get it worked out, along with John Davis. John Davis is as interested in this as I am, and it just so happened that he held detention hearings today, and I was able to fit it into my schedule and come.
The Alabama Occupational Information System has been called Alabama's best-kept secret. The AOIS is one of 8 such programs in the United States and the only one in the South. The system was set up by the U.S. Department of Labor to meet the educational and occupational information needs of Alabamians. The Informational Development Manager for AOIS, Letta Gorman, says their system has greatly expanded since its beginnings.
Originally, we targeted the secondary, unemployed, disadvantaged youth, but those audiences have grown now to include anyone that needs to make a career decision. Adults who are changing jobs, people leaving the military, the unemployed, the underemployed. Counselors use this as a tool for counseling purposes in the high school. Information, mainly anyone who needs occupational or educational information.
How is the information packaged, and how do you retrieve it?
Okay, our system is a computerized and manual delivery system that contains 11 data files. 2 of them are occupational, the rest are complementary to the occupational files and include educational files, financial aid files, resource files, and job opening files.
You spoke of training and so forth. Does the system not only help you locate a job, but also the training that would be necessary for you to undertake that?
Okay, we basically are talking about occupations. When we get down to jobs, it's when you've decided on a career and have realized what training it would involve. This system does go through the occupational exploration, and then from that point into what is available within this state and outside of this state as far as training, either at the college level, graduate school level, or just the training technical school level.
How much use are the people of Alabama making of this system?
Well, we are into most of the major metropolitan areas, approximately 100 sites around the state right now, and into at least 10 of the employment service offices and libraries.
You seem to have a great deal of interest in it?
Great deal of interest. I mean, they're sitting out there begging for the information, and that is why they're going to expand this program at the national level to include all 50 states.
The information is distributed by a computer terminal that individual organizations like schools or county employment systems either rent or purchase. By using a telephone, these portable terminals can be linked with the computers in Montgomery or Mobile and the necessary information retrieved. Not all systems can afford the computer access, so an alternate and less expensive method of doing about the same thing has been developed. It's called the AccuSort file. It consists of several hundred plastic information cards which can be sorted and eliminated by the use of coded notches on the sides, and that will yield a narrowed down package of job, occupational, and career information. Suppose I decided I wanted to get out of the business that I'm in now. What would be the first step using your system here?
Okay, you would first have to go to one of the sites where the terminals are located, which would be, in your case, probably an employment service office or a library, and go through the exploration, which is a search strategy to go through the interests that you like, what you want to find in an occupation or a job, where you want to work, what you want to make, how much money you want to make, and so forth, and it'll give you a list of occupations. And you look at the list, and if you decide you like any of them, they attract your interest, you then print out the information on that occupation and find out what training you have to have. And then you go to the training file, either the state training file or the 2-year college, 4-year college, and find out what's available, the closest, the least expensive, whatever you're looking for. Then you go to the financial aid file to see if there's any aid to help you go to that training. And then if you were looking at something that you are already qualified for and you wouldn't require any additional training, you look at the jobs file, see if there's any openings.
The Alabama Occupational Information System hopes to one day become a real state agency. There are several options under which the system could operate. Since the information collected has a lot to do with jobs, the AOIS could become a part of the State Department of Labor. AOIS also deals with education for persons who need it in order to get the job they want. And for that reason, AOIS could come under the State Department of Education. State School Superintendent Dr. Wayne Teague is in great support of the program, as are many state officials, including Governor George Wallace. Right now, the AOIS and its services are not that widely known throughout the state, but they're working on that because they do not want to remain Alabama's best-kept secret any longer. This is Dennis Latham reporting for Alabama Illustrated.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Does that got it? We wish you a Merry Christmas. Wait. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
A Merry Christmas. No, ha, ha.
Am I on?
Yes,
I'm looking for a light on the camera. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring I can do this.
Yes, you can.
Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy. I got it. Wait a minute. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry. Would you stand behind me, please?
Yes. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Oh, bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding and bring it right now. Let me do it again.
Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding. Now bring us some figgy pudding and bring it right here.
And tidings we bring to you and your friends. We wish you a Merry Christmas
and a Happy New Year.
Glad tidings we bring to you and your friends. Now look that. Wait, we'll do it one more time. Glad tidings we bring to you and your friends. Forget it. He's got to you and your friends anyway. He's got to you and your friends. And now, Dennis. Take it away, Dennis. Oh.
Sing. There's the metronome.
Tidings we bring to you and your friends. We wish you a Merry Christmas
and a Happy New Year.
You dropped it a half octave or something there. The bulk of the committee will consist of members of the Constitution and Elections Committee from the House, headed by Representative Jack Venable of Tallahassee, and the Senate Committee on Governmental Affairs, headed by Bill Smith of Huntsville. Governor James wants the committee to present its recommendations to the legislature by February the 15th, when he plans to call them in for a second special session. A committee of private citizens called the Governor's Working Party for a New Constitution is to work along with the legislative committee. Much of the study done by a full committee of the legislature and the citizens will involve public hearings. Those public hearings will be held in the Senate and House chambers. Governor James has set a target date of June the 19th when he wants the new Constitution voted on by the voters. The governor's aides consider the timetable workable because of the anticipated cooperation between the House and the Senate and the leadership. Some lawmakers believe a June 19th deadline is rushing matters. Only when public hearings begin and the progress of the study committee is measured will there be any indication of how large a task this committee has undertaken. Reporting from the state capitol, George Mitchell, WSFA TV News.
I was on the bottom of that stack. I got about 2 yards penetration, and they ran right over me.
You did your job. You were on the bottom, huh?
Yes, that's right. Down in them trenches.
Congratulations.
I thought they might go outside, and I had taken a step back deeper just in case, you know, if they did go outside. And instead, he just came up the middle, and I just, you know, just met him at the top.
But you didn't move toward him till the ball was snapped?
No, no.
Did you do anything?
They came from behind 8 times to win this year. That's another thing that I'm tremendously proud of. And I don't know how good we were yesterday, how good we'll be next week. But this afternoon, I think we're the best team in America. That's all I have to say.
I hope we're number one. I'm voting for. If I had a vote, I'd sure vote for us. You know, that's not up to us.
Did you want to win more decisively than that?
Well, we'd have settled for a 1-point win, but you gotta give them credit. They're a great football team. They were by far, to me, the best team we've played.
Marty, you worried about the vote?
Well, I am a little bit. You know, I think we deserve to be number one. We did some 11 other teams couldn't do, and it's in your hands now.
Well, you think the team will really be disappointed if it doesn't come?
Yes, I really do. I think we worked our hearts out and you know, gave it everything we had for this last game to beat number one and try to, you know, our best. You know, that's all we could do. I'm always worried about that vote. I thought we had it last year and it turned around the other way.
You think the vote will go all right tomorrow?
I hope so. I just, you know, what can you say? We don't get the vote, but, you know, I feel like we deserve it anyway.
You think the vote's going to go all right?
I hope it will. I can't say nothing right now because after what happened last year, anything could happen, but I think we got a good shot for it.
Yeah. Thank you.
An awful lot of people involved anytime you win and contribute, but the players still do the winning. And I know they were very disappointed last year when they thought they should have had it. And I'm mighty happy today.
The National Football Championship is especially satisfying to the University of Alabama because it's a fine tribute to the young men who play football for our institution and to the coach and the coaching staff. Student athletes are special on our campus, not only because they're athletes, but because they're good students who give an extra measure of dedication to the pursuit of their kind of excellence outside the classroom. The entire university community joins me in congratulating Coach Bryant, his staff, the members of the 1978 Crimson Tide football team, on a monumental accomplishment. We're proud that they did it, but we're especially proud of the way they did it, through special dedication, great courage in the face of adversity, and a fine display of sportsmanship and class.